What is going on to you, Aries? So you have the Eight of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. So I'm seeing here for you, Aries, there's definitely a sense of things, like I said, things are getting better for you. A lot of things are turning in a way that you want them to turn. The Eight of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, financially, business-wise, you're being very industrious around this time. The King of Pentacles, these are all three of these cards, especially in a combination with one another, represents extraordinary advancements and breakthroughs financially. And a lot of you Aries are very naturally industrious, because Aries is a naturally industrious zodiac sign. So there you go. So then you have the Six of Wands and the Three of Swords, right? Which represents, but when it comes to the matters of the heart, that's where it is that things are very difficult for you. I.e., I mean, this isn't a secret, right? You have the Three of Swords, you have the Six of Wands, Three of Swords, right? This is not very subtle. This is a very direct way of saying that your finances are thriving, while when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your matters of the heart, things are very much so difficult. They're still difficult, right? You are trying to make improvements, but in all intents and purposes, you do not see anyone right now being a very good fit. You've tried to go out, you've tried to hang out with some people, but unfortunately it hasn't worked out. So you haven't necessarily met anybody. You have the Queen of Cups, and then you have the Three of Wands, right? You haven't, and then you have the Nine of Cups. You haven't necessarily met anybody that represents a lot of different things. Now, these three cards mean so much. You haven't met anybody that understands you, is emotionally intelligent, industrious themselves as far as, yes, finances, but also, you know, the ability to be well-traveled, cultured, have a worldly bird's eye view on a lot of different topics, because they've been to a couple of places. They know a lot of people. They understand the religions of the world and the similarities, or the similarities between all of the religions, and they can piece them all together, and they understand, right, in a cohesive way that makes sense. And right, just well-traveled, overall scholarly, physically active, the Nine of Cups, as well as confident. And a lot of you, but these three cards also represent how, but this is also, how do I say this? This is also, these two cards right here also kind of talk about the last three that I was talking about, which is the Ace of Swords and the Four of Swords, right? Which is all about how it is that you need to give people a chance, in the sense that what it is that you should be looking for is character, first and foremost. A lot of times when I start talking character, people don't like to listen. And character is the reason why a lot of people don't get into relationships. It's because, for you, for instance, you are becoming more industrious, but at the same time, you have to understand that finances don't matter as much as you think they do. That's why character is number one up on the list of what you should be looking for. It's because financially, really the only metric is, can a person take care of themselves? Adequately, right? Well, can a person take care of themselves well? Can a person take care or more accurately, have the back have the back, or be accountable for another person, just like you need to do the same. And if the answer is yes to those things, they're qualified financially. because what makes them unqualified? We're seeing we're seeing a time right now where a lot of people are losing their jobs. Now, a lot of people are gaining new jobs, but inflation is sky high, and it's making it somewhat or very difficult to essentially financially take care of themselves. So that's my point. The person shouldn't have to make $1 million. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the thing that unfortunately, a lot of people don't get. So like, even though these are the three, or I should say, not three, but these are the, yeah, I guess you could say so. These are the three main cards. You have to pay attention to if a person has decent character, right? Like, a person should be solid. Now, if a person ends up being like as rich as you, because, for some odd reason, a lot of you Aries are like money bags now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? But not that I'm knocking it, but, Aries just came up on out of nowhere and became rich out of nowhere all of a sudden. But anyway, the point is that these are some of these are the three main cards. And it's basically speaking about how when it comes time now to look for someone that are those things, but at the same time caring. But these are not financial metrics, though. You understand what I'm saying? There's plenty of people who are confident. I'm confident in a lot of different areas. Travel to a certain extent, right? Am I well traveled? Yeah, to a certain extent. I could be more. I'm going to be more in the future. Planning on it, actually. Understands the world's religion, studied it, and stuff like this. But I get overlooked quite a lot. And ultimately, it's because of, like it is that I said before, lumping me in. But it's not about me. What I'm trying to say, it's not about me. What I'm trying to say is, it's about keep your eyes open. Don't squander good opportunities with people that actually would be a good fit, because they may not necessarily see you or come up to you financially. Don't do that, right? And I'm not saying that a lot of you Aries are. All I'm saying is, don't be so quick to think that the person is trying to play, because that's another problem too when it comes to coming up on wealth. It's not the best thing for some people to honestly be wealthy, if I'm keeping it honest. Because pay attention to how crazy individuals act when they get tax returns. You don't see those crazy individuals for like a month or however long up until the money is done. It's like they go crazy for a minute. And it's the same kind of concept. So what happens is what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot more people out here than what it is that you think. It's just pay attention to their character, right? Because the opposite can be true too, where a person can be handsome, beautiful, long hair, short hair, muscle bound, or is muscular, nice waist, good conversation as far as this. But what they have to converse about is their status. That's what they're preoccupied with. A debutante, overly preoccupied with status having individual, well-traveled, been to a couple of places, but they didn't learn anything. I ain't gonna say they didn't learn anything. The things that they did learn was shallow things. Going to Italy, did you learn a language? Do you see the language, or do you understand the language as a skill? Everyone, if you ask me, this is my perspective, everyone should know at least 2 different languages, not optional. Everybody should know at least 2 different languages. Whatever the languages are, whatever. But at least 2 different languages should be bilingual. And that's my point, right? Did the person look at those languages like there are skills, or did they look at those languages like, oh, okay, it's just something pretty to learn or whatnot, just so that I can talk to a person about money and status? You understand what I'm saying? So now the Ace of Swords and the Four of Swords now represent And this is what's destroying some of your relationships. It's the idea that you're not finding anybody as great as a lot of you Aries are becoming, right? So I'm trying to help you to understand, and I'm not saying that all of you are doing this. I'm saying that some of you might be doing it, where you may be overlooking some people. And for you Aries that are not overlooking some people, then, I mean, my gosh, maybe it's just because you're not, maybe it's just because those people are not as good as you. And that maybe you are a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so let's clarify the Three of Swords. Excuse me, let's clarify the Four of Swords. So it is going to require some more patience for you, especially when it comes to dating. You have the Seven of Swords, the Hanged Man, the Empress, and then you have the Chariot. Some people may not necessarily be who they front to be. And again, if it is them and you're the same person, it is what it is. Don't worry about it. Don't waste your time. What you need to do is pay attention to if someone is wasting your time playing a game with you, and just leave them alone, right? You still have time to date. The Empress and the Chariot is about the Empress and the Chariot is about watch out for anybody that's trying to play the status game. Watch out for yourself trying to play the status game, because when it comes to status, most people don't even understand what status truly is. When it comes to status, the most status having people in the world, show and prove, are Moorish Americans. They're the ones especially if they're living honorably, they're the ones that built every civilization in the world with documentation. But if we're talking about status, it's like, what honestly speaking is truly status here? Like, what are we talking about? We're talking about celebrity. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking about celebrity. Like, what are you known for type of situation. And watch out for these types of conversations, Aries, because once again, I'm not saying that you Aries are caught up as far as you're doing it. Some of you might be. But for you Aries who are not caught up with, preoccupied with talking about it, people can distract you with trying to talk about it because you're making so much money. They could be blowing smoke up your butt, is what I'm trying to say. By trying to essentially tell you that, you know, you're beautiful and that you're perfect and everything like that, and then you get pumped up, right? So just watch out for the status game and pay attention to people's core values. And that's how it is that you're able to judge if a person is the correct, or one of the ways I should say, if a person is correct for you. Don't just go haphazardly because you're making more money thinking that people can't live up to you. There's many different ways that can bridge the gap between a lack of finances. Many different ways. Okay? Peace.